This is the .gg podcast. We are in the bingo portion. Ban and bingo, please join us. We're going to talk about the rules and various cards that we have right now. My name is Koby. We've got Jeremie on your left, my right, and Patrick on my left, your right, probably.
Why did you attempt that?
I don't know, but hopefully that worked. I'm not going to double check. Okay, Jeremie, you want to go over the rules?
Yeah, so for ban bingo, here are the rules. I think Koby can pull up kind of like what my bingo card looks like. I can tell you a bit of how it will work. But there will be a 3x3 bingo card, and you can see here, this is mine. This is my bingo card. The center square is free, meaning that in order for you to score a point there, you don't have to do anything. You just get that point for free. Now, for those who have not played bingo ever, the way that bingo works is that if you score points in 3 squares that are consecutive, either like, just like in tic-tac-toe, like diagonal, 3 across, like diagonal 3, the other diagonal 3, 3 across the top, 3 across the bottom, 3 like vertical. You call bingo, and you race to call it as quickly as possible, and the first one to call bingo wins. In this case, what's going to happen is like you're going to have to call it on like Twitter or Reddit or Instagram, wherever you're choosing to participate yourself. The specific rules on how to do that will be in like a further details and more nitty-gritty stuff. But don't feel rushed. You're not going to have to win right now because we don't know the ban list. So no one can really win until the 16th. I think 3 a.m. 16th is when they're going to actually announce it. But back to the rules. In this 3x3 grid, what you're going to do is you're going to pick some cards that you think might get banned or restricted or just hated on, and you're going to throw them into this grid. And the idea is that if it gets hit on the 16th, you can mark it off and say, that's a point for this square. And then, yeah, if you ever get 3 of them in a row, like let's say hypothetically on the 16th, they ban Yuppie Luffy, Koshiro, and the Merry Go stage. That's 3 across. You can call bingo. You can post on Twitter and say, bingo! And then we will go check later on the next day and find the people who have all called bingo the fastest after the ban list was announced and send you your prize. Alternatively, if Yuppie Luffy gets hit and Hody Jones gets hit, because the center is a free square, that forms a diagonal line, and that is also bingo. Same with if it was Kojiro and Gum Gum Giant, free square in the middle, that also counts. So, pick your 8 cards to go on this bingo card very carefully and think very carefully about where they will go. Because obviously, I don't think they would hit 3 Yuppie Luffy cards if they also hit Yuppie Luffy, because that's just it's already dead. You don't have to, if you hit leader, do you have to really hit everything in the deck?
Keep kicking it.
Yeah, we just hate it that much. Or for those of you that hate Buggy, and you make all 8 cards like Kabaji, Crocahawk, Shoe Buggy, 10-cost Buggy, it's okay, we get it. But odds are that's not going to win. They only need to hit one of those things. So pick your cards carefully, position them strategically, and be ready to call bingo on the 16th. Yeah.
Judge, what happens if they only ban 1 card? Do we do a raffle of people who entered? What do you think?
Oh, yes, perfect. So because I am running out of space in my apartment for all the mats and deck boxes we have, and I'm trying to just give them all. Okay, but if nobody wins because they hit 1 card, or the 2 cards hit no one predicted because it's Vegapunk Leader and the Ark, Noah's Ark, again, or what's called the Ark card,
I love that free association. I really want to probe that more. Why did these two come from? What did Vegapunk do to you?
I was trying to think about the most. We joke about how the bans are always the most stray things. What's the most completely not in here thing that they're gonna be Panda's no, that's.
No, I know why you want to ban the Ark. I remember that pre-release.
Yeah.
Do you remember that pre-release?
Ark
costume. Yeah, that's
Ark
costume.
Vegapunk. I don't know the story there.
But the idea is if there is genuinely no winner crown because there's not enough cards banned or because just no one predicted what the bans were going to be, what we're going to do is we'll just raffle off for the people who have participated. We'll just pick off the winners and we'll just raffle off the prizes anyway because you've earned it for being involved in the highs and lows of playing One Piece card game, the high highs, the low lows, and the ban lists. So
Judge, can I get multiple bingos?
All right. If you get bingo across, if you get 2 ways to answer this. 1, please only participate with 1 bingo card in 1 platform. So don't do multiple entries. 2, if you have a bingo card that has 2 lines fulfilled, you're like a super winner. Now you still have to call bingo, but like if you genuinely get 2 lines on your bingo card because you can predict the bands that well, please message me or tag us because you earn a special prize. Like we'll give you something anyway because you'd have to really call it. Like you have to perfectly call the 4 cards and then have them be in the perfect positions.
Right.
Yeah. And historically, Bandai has the most they ever banned in one ban list is 4 cards. So that's why we're predicting that at most it'll be 4. So it will be pretty hard. Potentially, it'll be pretty hard to get 2 rows. But if you do, or 2 rows or columns or diagonal lines, whatever you want to call it. But if you do, you're amazing, and we should reward that.
Well, that was like...
You heard it here first.
That was like a 5-page TRM.
Yeah.
Remember I was saying, like, I like when you do like the most basic thing, but then the rules are unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah.
But it's very important. There's always edge cases. We discussed, the philosophy of judging last week. Please check out the video if you didn't watch. So it's really important that all rules are clear and that judging is done fairly here at the optcg.gg podcast.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for calling Judge correctly. I am always so meek when I call Judge because I'm just like, Judge? Like I'm always like, I'm not sure if I should be. Like I'm just curious. And then people are just like, Judge!
Judge?
That's another topic. How loudly should you call? Like we'll save that for another week.
How loudly?
I have some thoughts on that too.
Yeah, you have to commit. Otherwise, it's just like a notice me type.
Judge?
Yeah. Your opponent should be like shaking with fear because they weren't expecting that.
Okay.
It should be Judge exclamation mark, not Judge question mark.
Cool. Well, thanks for elaborating the rules. Hopefully you understand. If you did understand, don't forget to like the video. If you didn't understand, you can subscribe. I think that sounds right. Yeah? Yeah. If you didn't understand it, subscribe for more content so eventually you understand how.
If you don't understand, call Judge. As loudly as
Yeah, right.
Judge.
Cool. All right, Jeremy, so this is your bingo card. You want to talk about why?
All right. This is my bingo card. So I think a lot of us already know, like, kind of like the really strong decks going to this next meta. Maybe you guys don't know at home, but we know that UP Luffy has been super meta defining, and there's been a ton of comments coming out of the East about it, and it's just a very strong leader. It is meta warping. Now that being said, we've seen a lot of non-UP Luffy's top, but there's still a lot of UP Luffy in the meta because it's just such a good leader. And I think a lot of the leaders that are coming up as a result of it, like Bellavetti, are because this leader is so dominant that it shapes everything around it. Every deck must be good into this, like at bare minimum. So that's why I thought, okay, they have to hit this leader in some way. So the most obvious is like, you know what? They might just hit the leader completely. We've thought this before where it's like, oh, it's not that bad. Like with Sokka and RP, sometimes we're like, it wasn't that bad. And then they hit the leader and we're like, whoa, that seems kind of extreme. But they also always do that. Like we always think they're going to go with like a lighter handed approach, but we see them do it. So my top left square is UP Luffy because I think that it's just super likely that they'll hit the leader or something in it. But highest one to me is that other leader that's other way to hit UP Luffy, I thought to myself, was you can hit Nine Mom. If you hit Nine Mom, which heals, and UP Luffy no longer has a way to heal anymore, it actually really changes the way that they play the game, because without getting that extra card, extra life, you have to guard more aggressively, which is not something you want to do as UP Luffy for certain swings. Like you don't want to give up too much counter and give up cards in hand when you can rather just take the swing and not have to counter out like a 8k or 9k swing at all and just save that. So I think if you take this card away, UP Luffy is really forced to change the way they play, and I think it's a very like modest way to hit the leader. Another way to hit the leader is like, and everyone has talked about how much they hate Gum Gum Giant. If you hit Gum Gum Giant, I think it hits the deck a bit. Like I think it's quite a bit, but I think you hit so many other leaders that almost like you don't want to do it, because like, do you really want to like make UP Sanji not playable either? Because that's going to be a really fun leader. Like we've seen like other purple Straw Hat leaders like Robin, which did nothing wrong. Robin did nothing wrong. But I'm still putting it here in case they do hit it, because like the idea of the bingo card is like, let me try to position some cards that I think might get hit and put them in the right places. I also put, and then the other 2 cards here that are like Luffy related are actually for GP Luffy. GP Luffy is another very, very, very strong leader. It's very good. It's very flexible. We saw a ton during our original stream. I think it's a very good leader. It doesn't do amazing into, I think, Zoro, which is in the next meta. or into Rayleigh. But I believe that if you don't tune down the deck in some degree without UP Luffy around, I think it might be able to change this deck a lot and run wild, because it is so close to being very strong. So I put in Zoro because I think it's when I think about it actually on paper and in practice, I realize how good of a card it is, because it's a 4/6 vanilla. Are you ever getting better stats than that? Like, I don't think you are. Like, for 4 Dawn, and you get to search. It's just so good, and it took me so long to realize how good it was. And it's playable off Luffy Taro, so I put that in there in case GP gets hit. And for the same reason, I also put Stage in there too, because Stage is another card that really just makes GP Luffy have such a great matchup into so many removal heavy decks that I just put it there. And then for my last 3 decisions, and I want to answer Mito real quick, because he actually had an interesting thing that he brought up. Was like, no blue 9-cost Sanji. I think I just don't want the manga to get banned. I just don't want the idea of like the what's it called, them not getting the. There are so many things that card is not. So many leaders that card doesn't work with, that I think it's not worth hitting, because you're only hitting it for UP reasons, similar to 9 Mob. So I think there's similar kinds of bans. Anyway,
imagine if they hit Sanji, and then Zoro just comes and dominates.
Yeah, and it's like,
do you know what that would do to Sanji fans? Do you know what that would do to my wife, the biggest Sanji fan?
Exactly.
I think she might quit. So
I
really hope they don't do that.
That's a political
it already took them
move.
so long to make a Sanji manga that, like, if you also hit the Sanji 9-cost, I'm like, okay, come on, guys, come on. He did nothing. But yeah, the last 3 slots that I thought might be worthwhile putting there is, I think there's a lot of discussion around Hoodie Jones. I think if you actually hit the Luffys and other decks are more prominent, I'm not sure if Hoodie Jones is still amazing. That being said, RG Smoker's been really good, because when you slam this Hoodie on curve, there's so few ways to punish a player for doing that. It's such a strong card, and I think in my opinion, it's actually a really interestingly designed card, but I actually think that might be why they ban it. Because with Hoodie being so great, if you want to make a similar effect to Hoodie for like leader-specific reasons, you can't make it, because people will just run both that and Hoodie. So I think for design reasons, you might ban Hoodie, so that there's more chances to make Hoodie-like cards for, like an RG Smoker-specific Hoodie, rather than like a Hoodie for everyone, and then you can't ever make more cards like this, right? Similar reason, well, not similar reason, but like different reasons. The last 2 slots are actually highly specific. They're Kojiro and Kuzan. Koshiro is like okay, I'm gonna admit here right now, I don't know much about Green Zoro. At this point, I'm too embarrassed to ask about it and what it does and how good it is. But I know it is good, and I know that if you hit like all these strong leaders and you don't tune down Zoro a little bit at least, it will just run wild. So I picked a random card that looked like it was supposed to be going Green Zoro, and I said, okay, I'll throw this in my bingo card, because I'm running out of time to figure out what goes in the square. So I just threw in Koshiro, because I thought, you know what, maybe if you get rid of the Luffys or they get toned down, removal decks start coming back into the meta, in which case removal decks would still lose to Zoro because of the KO protection. So maybe they're going to be like, you know what, with Luffy toned down, and as long as removal decks come back up, all will be balanced. So maybe they just hit Koshiro, so like, you know what, removal decks have a chance against Zoro, which is good. And the last one is Kuzan, which is, I think Blackbeard is actually such a strong deck. I think if you actually took away GP or hit GP in any way, like if you hit Giant, if you hit Zoro, if you hit the stage and hit GP at all, Blackbeard, so strong, because you're taking away its like worst matchup. That I think that you would have to hit something in Blackbeard to tone it down. Now, Kuzan's probably too heavy of a hit, but I just couldn't think of a thing that felt like it was like such an amazing card in Blackbeard without hitting the consistency. Because the searchers feel like they're important. This feels like it's just like a super searcher, kind of like Zoro, where I'm like, okay, maybe you hit this. Not fully sure, but yeah, that's my bingo card list, because I basically want to position my cards in such a way where it's like, I think if they hit 9 Mom, I think they'll hit Stage, because I think it'll go like not heavy-handed. If they hit UP Luffy, anyone's guess what's gonna happen, because like they could hit like 3 or 4 other things. So I put them in that spot. I don't think they'll hit Giant, but it could be a chance. If they do, it would be like with 3 other cards. So that's my bingo card. I could go into it more, but I'd rather also just hear what you guys have to think about.
That's good.
And all that stuff and what you guys put down.
Yeah.
Now 7 beer would be my vote to go. The fact he can play himself is absurd. Oh
yeah.
That was I was thinking about that too, because I was like, but like, that would suck. If you hit 7 beer this early after releasing it, I'd I feel a little sad.
Yeah,
but you're right.
My money's on like they're not going to touch Buggy, they're not going to touch Blackbeard. That's my
Yeah.
They already just released the starter decks to help those 2 decks out, and neither of those decks are doing really well in OP12. So I don't think we'll see. I don't think Bandai would actually hit like starter deck cards. And I think like, again they just released those starter decks.
Yeah.
And I actually recently I've been encountering just like a lot of new players at locals, which is awesome, and they're gravitating towards exactly those leaders. So Buggy's easy to build. I faced a new Blackbeard player, so I don't think it would be too good timing to hit either of those, but we'll have to see, because I do think, like you said, especially if they hit GP and Zoro, Teach players are going to be pretty happy about that.
Exactly. So who knows what actually will think. So I couldn't. This is actually the hard part about this bingo card is like, you can say what leaders will get hit. It's so hard to say what cards specifically you would hit to create balance. Like, and also I want to say, like, this is how I would balance the game. This isn't exactly what Bandai will do, because sometimes there's other things like design considerations that I'm not thinking about that they might have knowledge of because they know more about what sets are to come. But yeah, this is my bingo card, and it was really fun to make, because I think as I was making it, I realized, oh yeah, like it's not just like what cards you put on here, but like thinking about what would make bingo. Like, oh, if they hit this, I think they hit this too, so I want to put them on opposite sides. So it was super fun. But yeah, this is my bingo card. I don't think Buggy will get hit, and I do not think Bello Betty deserves any of the hits, because I think if you get rid of UP, I think it'll balance itself out.
Yeah, and Bello Betty also just falls off hard in 12, or at least it did in Japan, because it just has a miserable time against Rayleigh, it has a miserable time against Green Zoro. So I think like hitting Bello Betty would be completely out of left field.
Yeah.
And I also don't think Bandai really balances too much based on the West. I think they're a little bit more in tune with the East. I could be wrong, but especially given that they haven't even really announced a ban list for the West. This might just be for the Eastern meta. I mean, it probably isn't. They've been following a trend, but they actually haven't announced for us yet. So I think based on the fact that Bandai really does seem Eastern focused, they're looking closely at the Eastern meta.
Yeah.
Like Bello Betty didn't do anything in the East in 12. You had to just really roll your matchups. Like, we saw a few Bello Bettys in championships, but I remember looking at their matchup spread, and it was like they got all UP Luffy's and dodged like 2 other like really commonplace matchups. So.
Oh, that's so funny. The Bello Betty just loving it. Because the Marshall D teach, you guys didn't see it, but like on our screen, I can still see the teach, and it's haunting me, because like that 7-cost teach is just so strong, and every time I see it, I'm crying. I wish they didn't make it so they can bring back events too, because that ruins my day. like I'll KO it, and then I'll forget that, and they'll bring back Black Hole, like the negate Black Hole. I'm like, I lose. I forget that they can do that.
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Holler, like I agree. Yeah, like that's. But yeah, it'd be too soon. I gotta let the suffering happen. All right, this one is.
This is Patrick's. You got a lot to explain here.
Ooh.
All right. Let's do this. Okay, so I guess the first thing is we didn't actually discuss these with each other. So any overlap you see, it's independent. We're independent groups here. Okay, so I'll start off. We both have UP in the top left. Okay, so I do think UP is probably a very good candidate to hit. And the rationale for banning the leader and not cards in the deck is really that I do think it limits the design space, and we've seen Bandai is kind of concerned about that. They care about being able to design cool and interesting cards, and actually what I've taken from all the reveals that we're going to talk about later is that Bandai actually isn't too worried about power creep. I think they actually want to just design cool and fun leaders with really neat effects that are impactful, and so I think they want to actually have the freedom to be able to design leaders like what we're going to see with the new Emu leader. And I think some cards actually limit that, and some leaders limit that. And UP definitely seems to limit the design, because now you have to be really conscious about printing purple bombs, about printing blue bombs, about printing anything that ramps, because this leader is just on the cusp. And so even if you hit something like the 9-Mom, 9-Mom is still only a conditionally good card in the deck. It's good when there's a lot of aggro in the meta, and there's really important targets that it can put in life. But UP does not need 9-Mom to be a great deck in future metas. And so I think dealing with the leader opens up the design space. So I think we may see this leader get hit, and then we'll see some like really terrible other blue-purple leader coming to take its place. But I think it's a really good candidate for freeing up the design space. So I think, okay, so we're kind of matched there. Now, again, I also have 9-Mom in a very similar position. where I do think if they decide not to ban the leader because they do like the leader, they want to keep it in the game, it's also Luffy, then I do think we're going to see 9-Mom get hit, and I think that won't be enough, which is why I paired 9-Mom with Giant. And I think Giant will not be banned. I think Giant would be limited to 1.
You're
So in which
describing
case,
it like
both still counts as a point. It'll still count as a point if it's restricted. Yep.
Yeah,
just like pairing a dish with some wine.
exactly.
Yeah. It's like a little bit of
bit of
9-Mom ban, a little bit of Government Giant restricted for my
it goes
perfect
so
One
well
Piece.
together. It's
Just
perfect.
enough. Well, and so, okay, so everyone, there's been a lot of debate over Giant, right? And so the idea is like, okay, do they ban Giant? We know that it's so pivotal in all of these decks that are really strong. If we hit Giant, we deal with UP, we deal with GP at the same time. We also deal with potential purple Luffy problems in the future, as well as purple-black Luffy. But, of course, there's a beautiful new Giant coming in PRB that's really shiny, that people really, really, really like. And everyone's like, well, I don't think Bandai's going to ban them, what is currently one of the biggest chase cards in the next set. However, Bandai could go, we're not going to ban it, we're just going to limit it. So you still need a copy, it's still out there to be chased for, but we don't want you to have 4 of them in your deck. And so we saw this with Radbeam, which Radbeam was functioning in a similar way to Giant back in the day with Whitebeard, where I just felt like it's just too much. It's too much defense at too little cost. And I think Gum Gum Giant is just another version of that, where it's too much defense at too little cost, in addition to helping you draw cards, which in the case of UP helps you defend more, really. And so I think we could see them limit it. I'm really, really not a fan of that. I just want to go on the record. I think limiting cards to 1 is not great design because you still have to play around it. And so you still always have to have it on your mind, and it allows people to high roll. So for example, if I'm playing a best 2 out of 3 series, I just draw my Giant both games, that could lead to me winning the series. So I think it's better to either deal with it completely or to just leave it as is and start printing counters, which we're seeing. But I do think there's a chance that they put it at 1. So that's why I've got it there next to 9-Mom, because I think if they put it at 1, that will deal with GP problems in the future, because I do think GP really needs Giant to survive. And I think if Giant's at 1, that will be a significant detriment to the deck. And then I think that we could see that paired with the Linlin. Thinking about, okay, so Hody Jones is another one that we both kind of have here. And so I actually put Hody across from UP because I think there is a decent chance that if they hit UP, they're also probably going to hit Hody. And so my reasoning for putting Hody in is that, again, I want to say I actually don't think Hody needs to be banned. I like Hody as a card. But as Jeremy pointed out, it does limit the design space of green cards in general. And it tends to be this card right now that's sitting in every green deck as this card you need to draw, but you have no way to search for. And so as a green player, it actually kind of feels bad that I'm reliant on Hody. I've been playing a bunch of Smoker this week. And it's like, every game I'm like, okay, where's the Hody? I need the Hody. Oh, I found 2 Hodys, great. This is going to be awesome. I didn't find Hody. Oh, this feels terrible. And I think alongside that, we're seeing Bandai still printing really strong defensive options for green. So red, green, Luffy's a very defensive leader, able to leave up Dawn and protect this board. And of course, we have the Mihawk that's coming in OP12 that's replacing Kid in a lot of green decks as this really strong defensive card. And so it also does seem a little bit opposed to the strategy of green, where it's like, I've got, but it's quite literally the best offensive card in the game, but I also want to play a defensive game. Now, I like that push and pull. I like the idea that I can take a card from my life to use to defend myself later when I've got a bigger body, but I'm not sure it is exactly what Bandai would want from all green decks. And I think at the same time, we're seeing them print other options, like the new Zoro event that allows you to basically do the Hody effect for 4 Dawn. And I think that's actually a much better kind of design. That card is searchable. Again, you can still play around it. And also, it's surprising, like when we were testing Koby, the green Zoro, it's surprising how much of a cost nowadays 4 Dawn is when you're doing a lethal turn. It actually, like, it really, like, you play it, and I'm like, oh wow, I really don't have that much Dawn to swing the numbers that I want to do still, given how much defensive options people have, how many 2Ks people run, and how many events people run. And the thing with Hody was that it got you that effect, and it got you another swing that's really, really close to the magic number, which is 9. Like 7 or 9, but 8 is actually the magic number against 6K leaders demanding 2 cards. And so Hody actually does, like, it gets you a body and it does that thing, and it's hard to state how powerful that is. And so playing the 4-cost event actually felt significantly worse to me
The
than
fact that
Hody.
you're calling it the Hody event even, it's like, it shows how much Hody is like on everyone's mind.
Yeah, and then I'll just cap that off by saying also, Hody does seem really, really good against Emu. Resting 2 blockers, that's exactly what Emu tends to play on their 10 Dawn turn. And so I think as well, I could see this getting hit for future decks like Emu. Okay, what else? So let's talk about Tashigi. So I don't think they'll ban Tashigi, but it's on there because if they do hit UP Luffy, I think Green Zoro may become a problem. And I think Green Zoro looks like it's going to also be a problem for some of the new decks that are coming in OP13 as well. There's been people testing like the new Emu leader against Zoro, and it looks like it's not a really good matchup for Emu. Zoro just kind of eats her alive. And Zoro actually eats a lot of decks alive, and it eats them alive in the way that we don't like, which is that it makes the game feel unplayable. So I was just testing some rogue decks. I was trying to get Perona back out, and it's just like it's not playable. It's not playable the same way it felt unplayable to play against Sakazuki or RP Law, where everything you play just dies. Like you play something, it gets rested, it dies. And if I counter to save it, I've already lost the game because I just don't have the flexibility to do that in anything but the most current meta leaders. So I think there's grounds that if you're going to hit UP, you might want to tune Zoro back a bit. And this card in Zoro is just, it feels very, very strong. And it also doesn't require a lot from the user. You play it and it does everything you want to do. It rests a target, it gives you Dawn, and it's actually like a really, really well-statted body. So I think, and it's searchable. So I think if you wanted to hit Zoro, this is a good target. I don't think they're going to hit a card that's coming out on release for us. It seems very, very unlikely, and people are looking forward to playing Zoro. But I think I've got this here mainly just as to say, like, if I were going to tune Zoro, I would be looking in Tashigi's direction. As for Pudding, I don't think they'll ban Pudding, but the only card I want banned on my bingo card is Pudding. I think UP's fine. That might be a hot take. I'm fine with UP. I'd love to have UP around for 12. Get Pudding out. I want her banned. This card, I can't wait. Like, this is the only pro of rotations that eventually I won't have to see this card anymore. And I think I don't think it'll get banned, but a lot of people have been talking about it. And especially it feels problematic right now because the way Pudding's being used is not to actually even reduce cards from hand. It's more to just mess with your hand so that you lose your giants or so you lose some counter. And there's even stories of people putting that 3 cards in hand or 4 cards in hand and losing the game because the opponent doesn't actually care about how many cards you have. They want to get the giant out of your hand or they want to get something you've searched out of your hand. And I don't think that's the function of the card. And so it would be nice to see it. I think it would be nice to see it gone. I think that would open up some more design for blue. But I also don't think it's enough of a problem right now in enough decks for it to really be on Bandai's radar. But I'm hoping it gets the Kingdom Come treatment where it's just like out of left field, Pudding ban.
Yeah. It's like, this is a stray.
Yeah. Okay, and then finally, I put Ice Age coming back as my hot take because I wanted something on here a little bit fun. I don't think Ice Age is that much of a problem. I think Moria was really the big problem, and I felt like they kind of hitting both was them really saying like, get down. I really don't want you here. But I actually don't know, given that they've been printing so much protection nowadays, how much of a problem Ice Age is. Now, I know that people say it's too much for one Dawn and it feels swingy, like either you see it or you don't. But I also think if you're going to start forcing KO decks to almost have to KO things twice, like in the case of Protection and Buggy from Crocodile Mihawk, you need 2 KO effects in a turn. Or there's just a lot of different ways of protecting bodies. I think actually what Ice Age enables is it actually enables KO decks to potentially pop 2 things in a turn and have enough Dawn to do that in the mid game. And so yes, it'll be annoying in Lucci, I get it, but Lucci has some really, really bad matchups right now anyway, so I think that deck will be gatekept. But what Ice Age does enable is it does enable the color black to come back. Because right now black is completely dead as a color. And the black decks that are working are like Blackbeard, which is not a black deck. Blackbeard just does his own thing. And we've got Emu coming. Emu's not a black deck. Emu just does her own thing as well, or their own thing as well. And so I think bringing back Ice Age would actually let people play black decks again. And I think you can keep them in check already naturally. So yeah, that's my list. I think like the way I've paired things was really with like kind of the UP Hody axis in mind, and then the Lin giant axis. Yeah, that was kind of my main thought, and then I have like kind of the unlikely axis here. And I didn't talk about Zoro Juro for GP, so let me talk about that quickly. It's funny that we both independently came to this.
But I was actually like, did you also come up with this? Just like, yeah, because Zoro Juro's kind of good, right?
yeah. Like I think you said it, but this card just feels really, really strong because it replaces itself and because it's so well statted. And I think actually, if I wanted to tune GP as a GP player myself, I think this is a nice place to hit. I think the deck would survive. I think you would hit the consistency of it, which the deck is really, really consistent. It's about to get more consistent because it's getting a better searcher coming. So I think actually toning down the consistency a little bit and then just getting rid of this body that makes the going second curve so overpowered. Because what you do is you drop this on 4, and then you Sanji Pudding, and then you drop this again. And because it searches itself, it can find itself. And this card fixes your game. The number of times this card has fixed a game for me is actually really, really crazy. And I think while that's good, I like consistency. The deck at times feels insanely consistent. It'll be like, oh, I play stage. Oh, I do the Zoro-Juro. Zoro-Juro finds me Zoro-Juro. Great, now I can play Zoro-Juro. And then it's just unbelievable. You can find all of your pieces in a row. It searches giant. So I think this is a nice way of tuning GP. I would be sad to see it go, but I wouldn't be heartbroken like I would if they banned something like Giant or something like Sanji Pudding. That would break the deck. And I actually don't see them banning Stage because they seem to be moving away from KO effects, and they seem to want decks to have answers to KO effects. And I think like giving that and then taking it away would feel kind of weird. As well as the fact that I think if they did bring back Ice Age, that would deal with that problem as well.
Yeah, I thought this was such an interesting take. Like, I also love you can also see your bargaining with Bandai there. It's like, I will give you Zoro-Juro if you get rid of Pudding for me. Like, this is what I'm willing to offer. This is what I'm willing to offer you in return for getting. Like, it was like, you get.
I would do that in a second. Yeah, I would give up.
Maybe that's something these access to. Okay, I'm willing to give up this card I like. Yeah. For the other side to for this to happen.
And it's like, you can keep Tashigi in the game. Just give me back Ice Age. Like, let's go. Yeah. And do you know why I want Ice Age? It's not for Lucci, for Blackbeard. It's so I can play Perona again.
Yeah.
Give me Ice Age. I will be coping on Perona. I will be going X3 again. But it's fine because I want to play Perona.
Yeah. I think the Ice Age one's interesting because I feel like if I was like with kind of more information about what you're sharing here, it's making me think more like I'm not change my mind about bingo card, but like. The Ice Age ban makes sense as long as they find a way to make it so that it doesn't become. I think in Blackbeard that is so good. If you give Blackbeard Ice Age, like, what do you mean you can KO an 8 cost using 7 cost Teach? Like, what? Like, that would blow my mind. Like, it would be so good. But it's not searchable just like Tempest Kick, but like, it would just be crazy how good Ice Age would become with like Doc Qs and stuff and all that. But like. Who knows? Maybe like they're like, maybe it's when Blackbeard's era begins, is when Ice Age comes back, and it's like, it's so canon, the Kuzan event.
I mean, Ice Age, I can't wait to see Blackbeard dealing with 5 bodies from Emu in one board that just all pop up. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, if they go second, like 5 bodies, you're gonna like play Teach, freeze one of them, and then die to like 1,000,007 swings. So Blackbeard's got his work cut out for him. Give him back Ice Age. He can have it.
Yeah, this is so interesting. Yeah, no, I love that we both also came to the Zoro-Juro thing here. So I was like. It's just, I think you said it earlier, there's no reason not to play it. Like, do you want to develop board? This does that. Do you want to draw cards? This does that.
Yeah.
Do you want consistency? This does that. Okay.
Yeah, and it often doesn't even feel like a brick because, like, I'll be like, yeah, this does feel bricky in hand. I wish I had more Oh, I found Giant. Great. Like, it is a brick in hand, but, like, it's often worth the Dawn justification just because it will find you a Giant. And you're like, okay, well, now I don't need any more counter.
Yeah. Plus, there are so many ways to get back for Dawn in GP Luffy to play it anyway and place itself. So, yeah. I mean, Zoro-Juro is definitely not a coincidence.
Whoa!
Koby!
Okay,
I love Koby's bingo card. I saw it earlier. Like, I saw it like maybe like 5 minutes before, like 10 minutes before live. I was like, oh!
I'm here to actually play the game.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Not to win. Play to have fun.
Just to play.
Yeah, I feel like I don't see any cards that really need banning outside of UP Luffy. And like I mentioned before, I think UP Luffy is a fun deck, and it's just extremely overpowered in a way where other decks are very undertuned compared to it. So it needs to go, right? Everything else, I mean, like... Giant we've talked about. Get that out of the way. Tashigi.
No. You paired Giant with UP though, so you want UP banned and Giant?
I would prefer Giant limited.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not much.
That's acceptable.
No, yeah. Giant feels like one of those cards, and this has been like beaten over and over again. It's just like 1 or 2, and then once the player knows that it's gone, you can actually like play around it, like more reasonably at least. Cool. Let's hop over to Tashigi. Yeah, we talked about that a bit, but it just feels like disgusting. 5/7, like vanilla stats. The 7 is so strong against every deck basically, and 3 Dawn onto your leader and resting a 6 cost. It's like, do I even play a body this turn? Like, is always the question in mind, right? And sometimes the answer is no. Why would I? Right? Like, it's gonna die anywhere. I'm gonna lose the counter that it had. Like, is it generating value immediately? No. Okay. So yeah, Tashigi is crazy strong. I think it carries Zoro really hard. It's what it feels like, because like, you know, if you add a lot of support cards for Zoro to KO bodies and attack life, sure, that's fine, as long as it's not developing board with strong bodies at the same time, right? That's my argument there. 4-cost Zoro Juro, we've talked about, same reasons.
You found that, you landed on that card too. That's so, like, how did we all three of us landed on this card? If this gets banned, we are
We're gaming.
geniuses, yeah. I haven't heard anybody else really talking about it. So.
I feel like we've casually talked about this like
Yeah,
over the past couple of
it's
weeks.
true.
So maybe that's been in my mind. It's just like every other card in GP Luffy feels like it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's doing its thing, it's normal, whatever. And Zorojuro is also fine. It's just in combination with all of these pretty good cards, it's just way over the top. Okay, everything else is kind of like a filler card. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, 8-cost Kid, I mean, I don't think it's that relevant anyway. It's just like, sure, it's rotating out, whatever. It can be pretty oppressive, but there's so many ways to play around it now, and there's other options like the Mihawk that we talked about earlier. Karasu, I don't think anything in Betty needs to be banned. I think Betty is a perfectly fine deck.
Yep.
I think Karasu is a great card, and I think it should not be banned.
Oh no, this is on here because you think it's gonna be unlocked and you can run 8 copies, right? Yeah, that's why it's here. It's like they're gonna unban it.
Yeah. I mean, if you can play unlimited Biscuit Warriors in the deck, surely you should be able to play more cards.
Unlimited Karasu deck?
Yes. So this is the opposite of ban here. Raging Tiger, I think that's fine. I think sometimes it can be like extremely strong, but you're playing for that condition as well. So I think you deserve to get the value out of it if you pull that off. 7-cost is quite hefty. You're not going to really do much else. And if you're playing against a Blackbeard and they make the mistake of putting out 2 purchases playing against blue, then that's on them at that point. Rebecca.
What? Isn't Lucci on your desk right now? You would...
No, once again, unbanning. It's 8 copies of Rebecca.
Right.
8 copies of Rebecca because it's
No.
not searchable.
Yeah, Rebecca is obviously a very strong card. I was playing a bunch of Lucci. I was testing it into 12. I was like, how would this actually work? Because whenever I test into a new format, it's always like, can this deck beat the biggest boogeyman of the other deck? And it's like, you know what? Like, it's actually putting work into Green Zoro. And I'm realizing, you know, Buggy and Koby are impossible matchups. Blackbeard is like high difficulty. Aside from that, everything else, like, it does pretty well into. And Rebecca is a huge part of that. I know we talk about how we're no longer in a removal meta, but I feel like that only applies if you're not removing very efficiently. But so when you're able to just like play Utas, play Kuzans, play 3-cost Tashigis, and like not worry about anything happening to your board, then you can remove anything after that, play Rebecca, bring out Brooke, and you get defense, right? Like, it's actually nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's those are my 8 squares. It's some fun conversation.
It's funny when you were talking about like the Tashigi, how like when it comes down, you're like, do I even play anything? That totally brings me back to like there's one game I had. I can't remember what I was facing, but it was way back when I was playing Sakazuki. I just remember facing a guy and he just never played anything, and then I just like killed him. And then I remember at the end of the game, I was like, "Man, you drew really badly." He was just like, "Well, if I play anything, you're gonna like remove it anyway." So I was like,
The fetus mentality.
I don't think that's how that works,
Yeah.
man. I don't think that's gonna win you the game. It totally like I had a flashback of that where it just and that's the problem with these decks when they're too strong. Like Zoro, it's like you actually just feel like I shouldn't play anything. Like, why do I even play? It's like I'm just forcing you to have it at that point. That doesn't feel like I'm proactively taking control of the game. It's kind of like play this. Okay, do you have Tashigi? Oh, okay, you have it. Right. Oh, you don't have it? Okay, now I have a chance in the game. Like, that's how that card feels.
Yeah,
It's like so hinged on it. Yeah. I'm seeing that now. Can't change my bingo card now, but I wish I did make some learnings about what Green Zoro does and what cards are bannable in it.
But I think Koshiro is actually that's like a legit target. Like you're
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, that's totally like
yes.
I guess randomly.
yeah. They could get away with that without I think too much outrage from Zoro. If they ban Tashigi, all the people who are
Oh yeah, if it's a named character that people are going to recognize very quickly, then they're like, they banned, and they recognize the character, and Koshiro are like, oh, is that like a Wano character?
yeah.
No, he's from.
And I mean, when I talk to like Green Zero players too, they're like, I just can't wait to play a deck and not think. And it's like, well, yeah, you can't take that away from them. You know?
Like Green
Let them
have their day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I see something from Mito who's talking about like the Ivankov. Yeah, we've been seeing like Sormil who's been like posting like the fake ban lists on Twitter every few days.
Yeah.
The Ivankov one, I actually am not sure if like I think that's like the point. Like it's like we didn't really go into Bello Betty bans because I think there's a lot of thought around how like I think it kind of calms down once UP leaves. But like I guess if you were to hit something in Bello Betty, like it makes me wonder what you would even hit because like is it the Ivankov? Karasu does feel really high rolly because like your game can be decided by if you see Ivankov, like so if you see Karasu or not. So maybe it is healthy for the game to get rid of it because it's like similar to the Shiki thing. It's like they saw 2 Karasus, and you're like, I guess I'm dead. I wonder if like if it would be Ivankov still at that point, or it would just be like it would be Karasu because it's so game defining in that deck, depending on what's going on. But like I don't know. Hypothetically, if Bello got hit by something, like what do you guys think? Like I guess Patrick is like Koby, you already said like it'd be Karasu, but also
so
if you have another
I was
thought,
thinking
let me know.
about that because I was like looking at every deck, like what is something that could be hit from each deck. In Bello Betty, I was like, is 6-cost Koala a decent target? Because before I felt like you could really starve them hard, and then now they have the Koala, they have the Sabo to just like take their own life. They have Zeus now to take their own life. But the Koala in particular, where they can take a life, play a body, and then draw a card, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I can starve anymore. So if they do high roll, it's like, there's literally nothing I can do. And, against certain matchups. So that was a thought I had.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a good hit. I think for me, I would hit the 5-cost Eva. I just think it's not interesting. I like the 4-cost because you kind of have to like play it out, and sometimes you attach like 2 onto it, and other times you use the leader effect to like play out something, or you like sneakily use it, and you're like you buff it, but then you don't play anything, and then at the end you're like, aha, the Inazuma comes down. That's what I was saying. And, like so, I kind of like that. I think it's one of the more interesting cards in the deck where there is some like playing around with it and planning. Whereas I feel like the 5-cost is just like play it. Pray, Karasu, and then swing. So I think the deck kind of needs the 5-cost in it to really fix the odd curve and just to give it sustain. But at the same time, I don't know if it necessarily needs that sustain. I think it makes for more interesting games though. Like I think I had one of my favorite games this set was playing UP Luffy into a Bello Betty, where I think at the end I had like a couple cards left in deck. Like the game went on that long because I had to starve. Wild. And I was just like every turn barely holding on, but they saw all 4 of the 5-costs, and they just kept like filling up the board. They had a million things in life, and it was like down to the wire. And so I kind of like that you can have games that go that way, and that's I think what the 5-cost enables. In addition to kind of speeding up the odd curve, it actually lets you play a little bit longer. Because if you keep seeing the 5-cost, you can keep refilling the board even once you've kind of dumped your hand for that initial push that you tend to do. But I also think that it's not an interesting card. Just like I think Koala actually isn't that interesting too. So I like that. I think Karasu is way too interesting. I would not like to see.
Yeah. It. Also, the alt art. Like, give us a few metas of using the alt art first. Yeah.
That's true. It's a beautiful card.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all our bingos. Just one more time, Jeremy. If there's anyone else in chat watching, do you want to go over the rules that we have or how to submit?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. If you can, I guess, like, just pull up my bingo card, I guess, like, or one of them, just so people have, like, a reference as I'm talking about it. But yeah, if you want to play banned bingo, it's going to be pretty easy. So, just make a grid, a 3x3 grid. You can use, like, any random bingo generator online. Just plop cards or the name of the card, but make sure to specify which one. You can't just say Luffy because we have no idea what you're talking about if you just say Luffy. So, like, ideally, specify the card or put an image down. But fill in these 8 squares that are not the free squares. And then lock in. You can only submit once, and then you can either post on, we're going to post on Reddit later, so you can reply to the thread with your bingo card submission, or on Instagram, you can DM us your submission instead, or on Twitter, you can just post anywhere on Twitter. You don't have to add us, and just post it, as long as it's timestamped, and don't edit it. If it's edited, it's void, but the idea is that you have to lock in with some timestamped post of some sort, somewhere, what your bingo card is. And then at which point, on the day of the announcement, you have to be the first one to call bingo in one of these platforms, and only one submission per person. But call it and say, bingo, I got it right, or like I got two out of like the 3 squares here, so it forms a line, and you win. And then over the next like day or two, we'll check all who said bingo and like who got there first with the correct bingo card that actually like has like a diagonal or a row or a column or any of those things. and then we'll reach out to you for your prize, which will be one playmat or deck box of your choice for free and free shipping too. And you can include anything else in the store you want for free shipping if you want to buy something or whatnot. And yeah, like one of the new deck boxes that Koby had,
sick.
the new the new Hana deck box and the new Mera one. But yeah, so that's just make this. You can use Photoshop, you can use Notepad, you can use whatever you want to make one of these bingo cards.
Can we post? Are you going to post like the blank one?
Oh, I can put. Yeah, I'll post a blank one later
in case
too.
people want it, because it would be cool if like people can make the same one. And then you said your website, you were pulling the images from OPTCG.
Oh yeah. I was
so people can use the site if they want to make it look like ours to post.
Yeah, I was just like straight copy pasting from our site. Just like, copy the flow down. It made it really easy to make the bingo card. But yeah, the rules are if you want more news rules around this. A card can only show up one time on this card. Like I had someone ask this, can I just put like the 3 cards that get banned and put them like alternating? It's like no. The card can only appear one time. So like how you place your cards on the bingo card is highly strategic because you have to think about if they hit this, would they hit this too? And then don't put them in the same row or the same column or the same diagonal. And like that's how you play. So from the top again, make a bingo card, 1 card in each section. You don't have to specify what will happen to it. Just banned, restrict, everything counts. If it gets hits by anything, yeah. If it's a card that is banned and you put it there, it's a sign that you said, I think it'll be unbanned. Post it, Instagram, DM, Twitter post in any way, shape, or form, or Reddit thread. Reply in the thread. It's locked in. Don't change it. Don't edit it because you'll be void from the contest. Just you'll be in the void section of that. And yeah, we'll pick a winner after the ban list is announced, and we'll go through everyone's submission to find out who actually calls bingo the quickest, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, ban list will be announced on the 16th, I believe, 3 a.m. or something like that. Something. It might be sometime really early, so like I don't know. Early bird gets the deck box.
I'll be wide awake. Also, I think if you're posting on like Twitter or the Reddit thread, also if you want to post like your thoughts, feel free to as well.
Yeah.
If you're posting on Twitter, tag me and with why you chose things. I'm always interested in what people why you put what you put, especially if you've got like a really hot take or you found like a really because there's kind of interesting combinations you can do here with the different axes of what if you think this but not this. So feel free to like share your logic for why you put things in. I also think it's just really interesting because that's like Bandai's doing this. They're doing their own bingo of trying to figure out what goes where and what to pair with the bands, and so it's fun to think about.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are like content creators or whatnot, we'd love to see you like come up with your I actually want to hear all the pros and everyone like with their bingo cards. Like we already talked to our friend Bunny, who some of you probably know. She's famous like in One Piece rallies, and she's made her bingo card, and I can't wait for her to share it because like her hate of certain decks is like so apparent that I'm just like, this is so funny. Like I should make one that's like not my bingo card, but it's like, but this is what I want.
Oh, I was so close to putting Emerald's face on there, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this seriously. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he said as he puts pudding anyway. Like, let me be serious about this, guys.
No, pudding is.
Watch it get banned, and I'm just gonna have to like eat everything here.
Yeah, I think all our bingo cards had such like I don't know, just funny uniqueness. Like even like I was like talking about how like Kojiro, because I don't know what Green Zoro really does, and I just know like I gotta put something in here. Like the pudding, the Ice Age one for like Patrick's. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like how broken would Ice Age be now? Yeah, it's good to think about. But and then for like Koby's, when I saw it, I was like, Koby like still likes to have fun. Like that's like it's so obvious from his ban list. It's like people should still be able to have fun. There's no Hody on there. Hody's fine. Let people have it. Let people have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like so trained to play around Hody that if it was banned, I'd be confused. It's like, what am I playing around now?
You had game. Why didn't you play Hody? Yeah. It's been banned. Oh, I guess that's a good reason.
Yeah, now I have to play around 8-cost kid or whatever. Anyways, so TLDR, follow these socials for more details if you're still confused. Oh, and if you weren't here before, if all that made sense, don't forget to like, and if that didn't make sense, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'll post on Twitter now so people will see the rules and all this stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Sweet.
Thanks, everyone. That is a ban bingo.
Ooh.
Okay. And now's where we like take a break and move on to the next section, right? That's how we do this.